Hey everybody, welcome back. So as you can probably tell by the channel, or not the channel, but the video's title, you'll know that there's something that happened that was not cool. And what I'm talking about is we're missing a chicken. How we're missing a chicken, I have no idea. I can tell you that they didn't get out on their own. There's no way that a chicken got out of this thing. Because not only that, because if you guys aren't aware, chickens have a real habit of kind of like doing everything else that the other chickens do. So if one of them got out, they all would have got out. So I know it wasn't chickens just doing it on their own. And we're thinking that either a predator got to it or somebody had a lot of balls and came on this property and took one of our chickens. We're not really sure which one it was because it happened. I'm not even really sure when it happened. It had to have happened within the past like week and a half or so, because I don't really count them. We got a lot of chickens, right? I mean, 12 chickens is a decent amount. You don't really go, I mean, at least I don't go counting the chickens. This is waiting dangerously close into the chickens before they hatch. Euphemism. But my wife the other day was out here and she mentioned like, hey, I'm only counting 11 chickens. So I was like, what? I came out here, I checked and counted. I'm like, I only count 11 also. And then like I did a recount and I came up with 12 because they move around, you know, they don't stay in one place most of the time anyways. So I counted it again just to double check. And sure enough, I came up with 11. And okay, just for the heck of it, let's count it again. 11. She's like, yeah, I'm only counting 11. I'm like, ugh. I'm like, how could that be? Like they couldn't have got out. I know that. So that really only leaves two options. And that is either a predator got to one of them or somebody, like I said, came on our property and took one of our chickens, which is really weird. I don't know why they would do that. I know that none of the neighbors would do something crazy like that. This is a pretty nice neighborhood. So I'm not really sure who did it. If it was a person, but I suspect it had to have been a predator. Like, and the reason why I say that is that the people that lived here before us also had chickens, and it was literally in the same spot. So the predator that I'm talking about is a bobcat, apparently. I haven't seen it, but one of our neighbors has seen it, and as a matter of fact, it attacked one of their dogs a while back. And they also had mentioned, because I brought this up with my neighbors saying like, hey, you know, if you ever see anybody in our back and it's not myself or my wife, you know, let me know, because nobody has any, you know, especially by these chickens, nobody has any business being over here by these chickens. So they'll be keeping an eye out, which would be nice. But they also mentioned, one of them mentioned that the people that lived here before also had problems with their chickens getting snatched up every now and then by that bobcat. And the neighbors that, or not the neighbors, but the people that owned this house before I did, their chicken run and coop was nowhere near as secure as this one, which is why I'm so surprised that a predator was able to go ahead and get to one of our chickens. Or that's, again, I don't know. Like, I don't know what it was. It was one of two things, predator or person. So I've taken extra steps to try and prevent this from ever happening again. Again, I thought that we had a really good system. Apparently it wasn't good enough. So I've gone ahead and taken the hardware cloth and covered up this gap here, because you see this right here has got some pretty good protection, but you know, there's this gap here. I just figured I'd go all the way up with it because this is the width of the roll anyway. So I just cut along here and just did that everywhere. So it's here, anywhere where there was a gap is now got hardware cloth covering it. And then down here, you can see that is actually an electric fence. So it's a solar powered electric fence that I have installed. So that way, if it is a predator, if they decide to come around again, they're going to get a nasty surprise. This is the solar powered electric fence that's installed there. You can see one side's got the ground and the other side's the hot side that goes all the way around. There's only a very small portion of the chicken run here that's not covered by the electric fence, and that's from here over to here. And I can't put it in front of the door because we got to get inside and outside of the coop. So the door doesn't have it, but I've also gone through the trouble of putting up some boards here to cover up this gap, because there was a pretty decent gap here also. So this is all covered up here, down here, and then at the bottom here as well. There was a gap that was down here that I've also taken care of. So got a board there as well that are all screwed in to the metal of the chicken run here. So you can see the electric wire goes all the way around. The other thing that I've done is I've added locks. So I didn't have any need to lock it, but since I don't know if it was a person, now we have a lock on there. It's a combination lock there. And then you can kind of come around here and see what I've done. I added a latch hasp, whatever the heck this is. I think it's technically called a hasp, but have a lock on here also. This is all screwed into the metal, so it'd be really difficult to try and get that open. And then also for the nesting boxes, instead of just having this flimsy little latch here that's screwed in with like tiny little screws, I've got a little system that I kind of came up with here where there's these metal pieces here that I kind of repurposed. These are actually used to screw the carriage bolts that go through the plywood on the roof of the chicken run. That's where these two holes are there. And that's where the carriage bolts kind of came through. But instead, I just drilled out some holes that align with this piece, because there's a piece that goes right on the back of here underneath, and the carriage bolts drop down in there, and there's nuts that are on the back there that are holding that in place. And then I have another one too for the actual like latch part, this piece right here that's screwed into here. There's actually carriage bolts that are behind that also, and there's another metal piece like that that's on the back side here. So this is screwed or bolted through into that metal on the back, so it's got reinforcement on both of the nesting boxes. And then this door here has one of those really super beefy locks. It would be really rare for us to have to go in here. And that also kind of takes care of the door here. Hi, girl. So this door you can't really open anyways, just because it's kind of like there's the hardware cloth butts up right against it, and then there's a lot of dirt and rocks also, and you can see the electric fence wire goes all the way around. There's another, I guess you can kind of come down here real quick to see that there's another door back here on the back of the chicken coop, and I also have another one of those big beefy locks on that as well, so you can't open that door without having the key. And again, the electric wire goes around there just to prevent any raccoons or bobcats or whatever the heck it was that did this from ever doing that again. Hopefully that'll be enough. I mean, if it's a person, you know, if they're bound and determined, they're going to be able to get in here. You know, I'm not going to be able to really prevent them from breaking into it. But that being said, if they do something silly like that, it's going to make noise for one thing. I'm hoping. I don't know if it's really quick and they're real quick about it, they might be able to bust open the back, because this is the only real weak point now, is this lid. These things are real flimsy, and you can see me just like grabbing a hold of it, and there's nothing to it. I think there's a real thin piece of plywood that this asphalt coating is wrapped around. It's not sturdy. They would just be able to grab this if they really wanted to and rip it open probably and snap it open. I'm hoping that would be enough noise to where it would wake us up. Not really sure. Maybe I can put like one of those battery powered alarms on it, you know, so if the lid opens up, the alarm will go off. I don't know if I would need to go through that whole process. I mean, it's entirely possible. And you got one of the chicken taking a dirt bath in there. That's what they do. They like those dirt baths. Keeps them clean, which is ironic. Dirt keeping something clean, but yeah, it kind of helps with parasites and stuff like that, keep them off them. But one of the things that I can do is that if something does happen again, it won't be something where I'm clueless. Because one of the other steps that I took to mitigate is that I installed a security camera way the hell up there, up on top of the shed there. So that way it's pointed right at the chicken coop and run here. So that way if there is something trying to snoop around, thinking about maybe trying to grab another chicken, whether it's a person or a predator, it'll be on that cam. And that cam only records whenever there's motion in front of the coop, like right around this perimeter right here. So that way, it will, I won't have to wade through a bunch of footage. If there's any files that'll be on our network drive, because I have a recording, it's got a 5G connection, so if and it records directly to our network drive, so that way if anything happens and I see a file that's on that drive, like right now it's probably recording me because I'm moving about, but if I see files on that drive, I can review them and figure out what happened, because as I mentioned, the only time that should be recording anything is if there's motion around here. I don't know if it's going to pick up the chickens or not. That'll remain to be seen, I suppose. And I'll have to just, if it does pick up the chickens, then I'll just have to deal with it and just continually review it. But really, I would only need to review the footage out of curiosity, just to see like what happens at night, because I have no idea. It's got night vision on there. So it'll be able to light this area up, and I'll be able to review that footage just to see how things go at night. And if there's anything, especially at night, that shows up with a recording out here, then I know that something was out here if it happened overnight. I'll definitely be reviewing that footage. So yeah, it's my wife and I were both really sad because, we raised these girls from little chicks. And to think that one of them got snatched up by a predator, or even worse, by a person. Because, I mean, who the heck would do something like that? Go in there and, like, take somebody's livestock. Yeah, that's messed up. That's real messed up. I hope they don't, if it is a person, I better not catch them. Because at that point in time, they'd be going to jail. Because I will press charges. No doubt about it. I will press charges. And it won't be a pleasant experience either, because I'll have them at gunpoint, because I am not messing around. You come onto my property and start messing with my stuff. Bad news. Don't do that. Don't do that to anybody. Not just me. Don't do it to anybody, because that is asking for trouble. So, yeah, not exactly a video that I wanted to have to make. But I understand that anybody who is either thinking about raising chickens, or if you do raise chickens, you know that feeling, when you see one of your girls missing, or I guess if you're got a rooster, see your rooster missing, got your dudes missing, or one of your girls. Not cool, not cool. But I'm doing everything I can to try and keep these guys safe, and I think that this is going to go a long way towards it. And if there is any other missing chickens, we'll be able to figure out what the heck happened, and then I'll be able to take some action to prevent that from happening again. And if it is a person, and I do catch them, I'm not really sure what I would do at that point. I would just hope that I'd be able to get the person identified, get them arrested, if they do it overnight and I don't hear them. All right. Hey, thanks a lot for watching the video. And if you like this kind of thing, not necessarily missing chickens, but if you like seeing projects that are done, household projects done on property, decent chunk of property, then you're in the right spot, and I would really appreciate it if you'd subscribe. And if you like the video, go ahead and thumbs it up. I know some people might be conflicted, because why would you like a video where somebody lost, one of their livestock? But, I would look at it more that, you're liking the video because you like the content, and either you sympathize, or maybe you just like the video just because, or maybe you're just somebody who hates chickens and you think it's funny. I don't, who am I to judge? There's all kinds of people out there in the world. So anyways, thanks a lot for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.